Alright, let's dive into something that's been bubbling under the surface in Australia. Centrelink chasing debts that are, get this, over 40 years old. Yes, you heard that right. 4 decades. And here's the kicker, this is happening despite the government agreeing to a 6-year statute of limitations on debt recovery. What's going on here? Let's break it down. First off, the numbers are staggering. Centrelink is pursuing $4.93 billion in unpaid debts, with 1.34 million outstanding cases. To put that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of some small countries. But what really grabs my attention is the age of these debts. We're talking about 600 debts over 30 years old, and the oldest one? Over 40 years. Personally, I think this raises a deeper question. Is it even reasonable to expect people to settle debts from a time when disco was still cool? I mean, come on. What makes this really interesting is the context. Services Australia's debt collection system has been a mess. Remember Robodebt? That scandal alone led to resolution payments of up to $600 for people affected by unlawful income apportionment. And here's a detail I find fascinating. Around 44,000 Australians have actually overpaid their Centrelink debts, some by $20,000 or more. So, while the government is chasing ancient debts, they're also admitting they've overcharged people. It's like a bureaucratic nightmare. Now, let's talk about the human side of this. Welfare expert Christopher Rudge points out that many of these debts are based on calculations from systems that are incompatible with today's auditing tools. In my opinion, this is a massive red flag. If the government can't even verify the accuracy of these debts, why are they pursuing them? Rudge also mentions that for debts under $2,000, there's no manual review, it's all done by a computer program. What this really suggests is that the system is prioritizing efficiency over fairness. And that's a problem. From my perspective, the push to waive these debts makes complete sense. Economic Justice Australia's CEO, Kate Allingham, argues that the 6-year time limit was originally in place because it's nearly impossible for people to defend themselves against debts from decades ago. Think about it, how many of us still have payslips from the 1990s? Exactly. What many people don't realize is that in most Australian states, limitation periods for debt recovery are already 6 years. So, why is Centrelink operating by different rules? One thing that immediately stands out is the cost of administering these old debts. Rudge points out that it could actually cost more to chase these debts than the debts themselves are worth. If you take a step back and think about it, this whole situation feels like a massive waste of resources. Instead of focusing on outdated debts, why not invest in improving the system to prevent future issues? Now, the government's response is interesting. They claim they're committed to fair and compassionate debt recovery, pointing to reforms like the $300 million package to waive small debts. But here's the thing, if they're so committed to fairness, why are they still pursuing debts from the 1980s? It feels like they're trying to have it both ways. Personally, I think this is a classic case of policy not aligning with reality. What this really boils down to is a question of priorities. Are we a society that believes in second chances and financial forgiveness, or are we going to keep people trapped in debt for decades? In my opinion, waiving these old debts isn't just about fairness, it's about recognizing that circumstances change, and people deserve a fresh start. After all, isn't that what Social Security is supposed to be about? So, here's my closing thought. If the government is serious about building trust and supporting Australians, they need to let go of these ancient debts. It's not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing. What do you think? Should these debts be wiped clean, or is there a valid reason to keep chasing them? Let me know in the comments below.